Hey everyone, welcome back to Google Workspace Recap, your number one source for everything workspace by the tabGeeks Network. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we're here to help you keep up. Doing a day recording for the first time in a while since Steve was under the weather last night, which works out well for me since it's Hanukkah. Last night I celebrated at the world-famous Magic Castle, where my brother-in-law was on the billing for the first time ever, so that was super exciting. I also have my Festival of Lightsabers shirt on, so happy Hanukkah to all of our Jewish listeners out there, and happy holidays to everyone. Steve, how's it going?
Pretty good.
How you feeling?
Yeah,
Back?
much better. It's more like a one-day flu type thing, fever and sore throat, and yeah. I am surprised. Well, I mean, I've not. Everyone keeps saying like I must have caught it at some point in the last couple of years, but I've yet to test positive for COVID, despite looking after people that have had it for like 5 days. And
yep, same.
I don't know. It's possible. I mean, it's not impossible that you cannot catch it. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had flu-like things and symptoms, but it hasn't officially been COVID. Like, I don't think any time. Yeah, I haven't actually gotten it. It's possible that I had it and didn't know because, I mean, we're just not testing as frequently anymore. You can certainly carry it and whatnot, but yeah, rather fortunate in that department. So, but I have a pretty strong immune system also, so that helps.
Yeah, and I was looking at back to the Magic. Comment there. There's a place in Chicago called the Magic Lounge, and it's similar to I think the one that you have out there by you, but yeah, not quite the same. I don't think it's not related at all.
Right.
It's more open to the public type of a thing, and just a venue dedicated to music and magic. It looks like so, not just like a.
I'm
it's
sure
more like, yours is more like a private members club for magicians.
It is, yeah. It's
like
members only, and you have to get in with a member or by invitation of a member.
Right.
Neil Patrick Harris is probably one of their more famous, well-known ones. He started there when he was a teenager as one of their up-and-coming junior magicians, and
I didn't realize he's a magician.
In a while. He's a renowned magician.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never seen him do magic.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you should look it up. It's pretty cool to watch. So my brother-in-law, I'm going to give him a shout-out here, Tomer Kafif, tomerkmagic.com, if anybody's interested. I went to see his first on-stage, like, as a member show. There's, like, tiers to get in, and basically you have to first do your time as an associate, or not an associate, but a probation member, and then work your way up. So this was his first time on the big stage. So the whole family went out for a nice evening of magical entertainment. It was crazy. Some of the stuff that he did and some of the other magicians, oh man, floating blocks and card tricks galore, of course, but mind-blowing.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris was the president of the board of directors for the Magic Castle for 4 years. It looks like. Yeah, interesting. Didn't know that. All right. Well, learned something new today.
There you
go. Today I learned, right? Yeah, exactly.
I didn't show off my shirt. Here, let's see.
Oh, let's see. Let's have a look.
There's the menorah with the lightsabers for anybody who isn't on the YouTube side. Got the Star Wars symbols on there. It's my festive, not so ugly holiday. Not so sweater, because it's a t-shirt. But this is California, okay? I mean, it's 68 degrees outside right now.
I wish that Google holiday sweater was in more sizes.
Yeah, that thing is nice. I have to put
it's
a
like an extra
over here.
Was it like an XL only?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I it kind of caught it towards the end of the Christmas season. It was on the Google European merch store.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of looking at what was available and saw that, and nothing like that I don't think exists in the U.S. store, unfortunately. But
not that I saw, no.
Yeah, there's some little interesting differences there between what's available between the two stores.
Yeah, I saw Microsoft had a nice one also. They had Clippy, the ugly sweater is back. Good times,
nice.
Good times.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's go through the updates here. Oh, and then we do have a special episode coming up, though. We're just waiting to nail down the date with Alex Bauer on the Chrome team again. So that should be, we should be recording that this week. Is the expectation. We were going to try to squeeze it in tonight, but I think we need a little bit more time to kind of get ready. Yeah. So hopefully one day this week before the
And our last time that we did that, it was live, which did give people the opportunity to ask questions. That being said, the live doesn't produce as high quality a show, so we're going to do it recorded this time. But if you do have questions, please, by all means, shoot us an email. You can email me or tabgeeks, info@tabgeeks.com.
You got to get this out quick then tonight, Jesse.
I will be getting this out today. Today, that's the idea. Minutes. We're going to record, and then I'm going to let it process, which takes, I don't know, half an hour or something, and then download and throw it on the track and render and upload. So that whole process takes several hours. I know. You know, that's right. It's the annoying part. Some of it is just waiting for YouTube to process it, but I mean...
Right. That's what I mean, I guess. All right. Well, let's get through this. So, decent number of updates this week. We had 5 through the main announcements that we saw during the week, and then we had 3 thrown in here at the end of week recap, and then we have a few interesting pieces to report in the news. We did a little bit of testing of the Chat GPT and the OpenAI capabilities. Good thing we found is it hasn't replaced us. It's not going to replace us anytime soon by the looks of things. I think there's still a long way to come for doing very niche specific type of responses and content creation. So it hasn't taken over our jobs just yet. So that's good to know. But looking at those updates from the silent releases that we saw, there's some drive approvals are now available on Android and iOS apps, which is great. I've used those a lot, and I've always just had to review a document and then kind of message someone if I wasn't able to get to the desktop to say, hey, that's approved, just go ahead with it. Also, there's some new keyboard shortcuts for Google Sheets on Android, which I found kind of interesting because I don't remember the last time I attached a keyboard to an Android device, but hey, actually I haven't used an Android device in a long time, actually. Other than a phone, I mean, not a large format device. Anyway, in any case,
they're coming.
I know. I've seen that. And then some added functionality for storage management, which is nice. Some good features there. And then looking at the published releases, we have the ability to easily format and display code in Google Docs. Really weird though that this is only for certain SKUs. It's kind of one of those features, just like should be available to everyone, but alas, it's not. So code blocks for those that are not on the right SKUs still. And then next we have email notifications from Google are now available in the Alert Center. You can enjoy improved cell performance with intelligent network switching in Google Voice. It's an interesting title there, long one there. I think we'll get to the heart of what that is. It's probably pretty simple.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, I've always noticed, well, this is more on the meat side of things and how it handles calls and meetings and connections, but I think there was something else with the way, there's something with the way that Meet was leveraging like carrier grade connections through POPs where other providers weren't able to do that. I think that was something that I'd found out from David at one point. Next on the update, so we have expanded language support for captions and translated captions in Google Meet. And then finally, client-side encryption for Gmail is now available in beta, and there's a form to fill out and get involved with that if you're interested. I think, again, it's one of those limited subsets of domains will take advantage of that given the complexities and costs associated with that, but that is now available in beta. And then in other news, as I said, we were unable to get ChatGPT to summarize last week's Google Workspace updates. It just couldn't handle that request. I don't know if there's a better way to phrase the question, but that is exactly what I said. Summarize last week's Google Workspace updates. I tried a lot of different ways. It just the
reason for that, I know why. It was trained on a data set from 1.5 years ago. It doesn't have any does not have any current up-to-date information in it, unless it happened 1.5 years ago.
Interesting. So that's very
So I wonder if you could say summarize a podcast episode or write show notes for a podcast episode based on updates made to Google Workspace, if it would pull something along those lines. So that should be your next test query.
All right. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I finally got access to it. It took a while to get my account activated because I hadn't signed up and started using it in the early days.
Yeah.
So it took a little while to get
crazy active.
Yeah, I don't know what the costs are on it, but I don't think anyone has a clear understanding what the costs are associated with running these queries. But there was some like very poorly estimated podcast that said, oh, it's like 0.0003 cents per query, and there's so many queries per day being run, so it's costing like $3 million a day to run this. But
sure
like
it is.
it's well, right, it's backed by. I mean, I'm sure there's a cost associated with the infrastructure that's running on, and I mean, Microsoft is the main backer to it, right? So I'm sure that they are, allowing these things to run at a very reasonable, if zero cost, given their support of the platform. But who knows? I know they're definitely spending a lot of money with no revenue.
They're also likely capturing all of these questions to continue training the model. So, this is a beta test more than anything else.
Yeah. We have an article from 9 to 5 about Google Pixel tablet and speaker dock prototypes have leaked on the Facebook Marketplace. Another 9 to 5 article here about Lenovo IdeaPad 3i Chromebook has a bigger display and thinner bezel and a backlit keyboard, which backlit keyboards are always amazing. Love those.
Yes.
A Verge article here about Lenovo's new laptops will make you choose between a bigger screen or a nicer screen.
That goes together with the previous article.
Nicer for me. I would rather have nicer than bigger. I don't know.
Same. Well, it depends on how small it is, but yeah.
Yeah, but most everything is like 13, 14-inch anyways. Like, I'm not going to have I don't want an 11-inch screen, of course not, but, 13,
well, the
11-inch is sufficient.
The 11-inch HP X2 is a nice, bedside Chromebook. It's not that bad. I mean, that being said, I have the
There's
I
a
have
new
them all over the
category.
place. What can I say?
It's a bedside Chromebook.
and couch.
I'm sure the marketers will love you for that.
You're welcome. People have used couch, iPads and Chromebooks for couch laptops for years. And, I had a friend growing up. His father used to keep an iPad, like the second gen, is way back, in the couch cushions. Like he would just reach down behind him and just pull out from the couch. I was like, how does that not get crushed or destroyed? Yeah. But he always just pulled it out, and he would do whatever, look up his shows or play his game or whatever it was while he was watching TV. So there's your category.
Nice.
Nightstand Chromebook.
Yeah, and then another one here from 9 to 5, which is why is Google making a Pixel Tablet Pro?
Because Google is what's the term I'm looking for? Can't make up their damn minds about tablets.
I don't know. They can be. I think Google can be adventurous in some of the things that it creates because, like, they're not going to be the market leader in things, right? But they can be an innovator in some of these formats and some of the the products that they're making, which I think is really what they're, that's what they do well is pushing the envelope, I guess, of where things are currently at, and also I mean they're also not they're the biggest brand that can make these product enhancements known to people. I think is really what they can do well. Of course, there's a lot of features and functionalities that probably other brands have created that are maybe much smaller. But I think Google does a good job of, publicizing their products and things like that. So,
well, that was the point of the Pixel originally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
indeed. All right, let's dive into the details here of those silent announcements and releases that we saw. First one being those drive approvals available on Android and iOS apps. So pretty straightforward here in terms of what this update is all about. This update is now going to allow approvers to comment, approve, or reject a request on a file, and this started the week of the announcement, which was now last week, I guess. I mean, this was published on the 16th. So the feature here, though, is going to be available to just select customers. Just available to Workspace Essentials, Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Essentials, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Plus, and Legacy G Suite Business customers only. Interesting that it's not Legacy G Suite Enterprise customers only, or Business and Enterprise. Wonder if that's an oversight there. Or I wonder if they've just gotten all the Legacy G Suite Enterprise customers off. I doubt it, but I think if you are on Legacy G Suite Enterprise, you probably still have it, but oh no, that's right. It didn't. Sorry, I think Enterprise did force the upgrade, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what happened. Yeah, because it's always Legacy G Suite Basic and Business customers, and Enterprise has been forced into Standard or Plus. Exactly. Yeah, sorry. Little product snafu there from my end. All right. Next, new keyboard shortcuts for Google Sheets on Android. So if you are one of those users that has an external keyboard for your Android device of any kind here, these will extend some additional keyboard shortcuts. And there's a link to have a look at which shortcuts are available, and have a look at that if you are one of those users. And then finally, additional functionality for storage management. So in your admin console, when you are looking at your shared drives and trying to look at a summary and report of those, previously you had the issue that the challenge of shared drives can be named the same thing. There's no name clashing kind of limit there. All your shared drives can be named the same if you wanted them to be. How do you distinguish them in your admin console? Well, now you can see the shared drive IDs, and this will of course help in that distinguishing factor there. But also in addition to that, you will have the ability to see the limits for that shared drive. Because with some of the data controls previously announced, you can limit the amount of storage in a shared drive, and that's now shown as a column. And then finally, there is the ability to see the number of objects as a percentage. So that that's one of the key limits prior to those storage limits being an option. It was really the objects per shared drive, which is 400,000. That was the key metric there of hitting some sort of cap on a shared drive, was that 400,000 object limit. So if you haven't implemented any storage limits, 400,000 objects is kind of your main thing you want to keep an eye on. And this now allows you to see that in the admin console. So a pretty useful one there. Very useful for admins to have. All right. And then getting into our published releases, that first one here being the ability to easily format and display code in Google Docs. And Jesse, I think you'll be happy with, I think this animation here is pretty decent dimensions in the, animated GIF format. Probably not as high as you would have hoped, but looks pretty good. And so you'll be able to find that in the insert menu and going into building blocks and code block. And then you have some options there of the different types of code blocks that are available to you. Of course, not as extensive as what the Docs add-on code blocks gives you, but a good start to this. So if you are one of the domains that will have access to this, try it out. In terms of the rollout for this one, it is going to roll out to the rapid release domains on an extended rollout, potentially longer than 15 days for visibility here, starting on December 14th. And then for scheduled release domains, it's also on a standard rollout, potentially longer than 15 days, starting on the 3rd of January next year. And as I said, this is only available to certain SKUs. It is going to be available to the Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Standard, Education Plus customers, and nonprofits. So not available to personal accounts and any of the other ones that I have not mentioned there.
So that is a good size screenshot, or rather GIF, so thank you for that. But Steve, I do want to point out, and I don't know if the RSS glitched or something, but you missed one.
Maybe it's good that you caught
Facet
that.
enhancements for cloud search.
Oh, let me see
Drop
here.
this in the chat there for you.
Yep. Let me see here.
It's now easier to configure and use cloud search filters.
Yeah,
Facets
you know
with
what? I'm looking at the
multiple
RSS and it's not there.
Funky. It's in the recap post.
Yeah. Good catch.
Thank you.
Yeah, it didn't pull in the RSS on the dock. So, I'll have to look at the RSS and see what's going on with it again. All right, let me pull that up. We sent it in
Google Chat.
Which chat?
Well, our space.
The space?
The space.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. All right, was that the first one?
It was the first one, yeah.
Okay.
As far as I can tell,
great.
that's the only one that's missing.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total announced updates.
All right, well, good. We'll jump back to that one here in a sec. Okay. Yeah, I think that was all that I wanted to mention around the format display code. Cool. So jumping back then to the first update that happened last week, which was on a Tuesday, is, as Jesse mentioned, facet enhancements for cloud search. I'd really be curious as to how many people are leveraging cloud search.
Yeah.
I really would.
It's a good question.
Yeah, there was some discussions in Mac admins around cloud search recently, and yeah, the feedback wasn't all that positive in terms of those that had been looking into it and how, it's implemented and how it works. And I don't know, I'm sure there's some orgs that enterprises and customers might find it useful. But looking at this update here, if you are a cloud search customer, it is going to be easier to configure and use cloud search filters and facets with multiple enhancements. There's some new capabilities here where faceting support for integer type fields, such as priority levels for support tickets or the number of pages in a document. There's also some out-of-the-box faceting support for document size, document creation, and custom date fields, a new default reserved operator for document size and created date fields, and then finally a simplified query API response with filters being directly provided in the response. So if you are one of those cloud search customers, those are now available to you within the product. And I'm, sure there's a lot of additional development that you will have to do to take advantage of those features. Next, back to our list here, number 3 now on the updates. Email notifications from Google now available. Not Google Now, because that was a product at one point. This was, we're not talking about Google Now notifications. Email notifications from Google, now available in the Alert Center. I think there should have been a comma there. Or, well, it's not a capital N, right? So, I guess. How long ago was Google Now? That was a long time ago.
I want to say 20...
That was one of the early products,
Yeah, that was part of Android early, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that. 2012 it started. Let's see here. I got it. I got this. Initial release was 2012, 10 years ago. And I think the last release was in 2015.
Ago, right? Ooh, 15,
7 years ago.
7, yeah.
Yeah. It became Google Assistant, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, with this one, this is kind of talking about admins and the notifications they receive from Google, informing them about updates. Those notifications can be related to a variety of things, such as security, billing, or critical product changes. So when admins receive these notifications, they will also be captured in the alert center, and just making it easier for admins to stay on top of important communications from Google. So if you, I think, is there something that you need to do here? I don't think there is. I think you can define, I wonder if you can define the status, the severity. Maybe they just come in with a default severity. Might be it. Because, like when you push alerts to your alert center, you can define those severities, but I guess those will come in by default with some sort of value, and then you can adjust them. For rollout on this one, it is going to be rolling out to both rapid release and scheduled release domains on an extended rollout, potentially longer than 15 days, starting on the 24th of January. So not for a while. So this is a very unusual early announcement for this feature. That's odd.
Guess it'll be handy to have it show up in the completed feature rollouts.
Yeah. I mean, usually the feature is available to one of them right now when they make the announcement. This is not a usual rollout pace here, but this is going to be available to all customers as well as those G Suite Basic and Business ones as well.
Well, they just don't want to push new code before the new year starts, make people work over the holidays.
No, I don't. No, it's about I don't know, but it's like the end of January where they're saying it starts. That's just weird. I don't know. All right, looking at Google Voice, we have on the next update, you can now enjoy improved call performance with intelligent network switching with Google Voice. And this is going to improve call experience with voice to automatically switch ongoing calls between cellular service and Wi-Fi when it determines that one network type will lead to better call quality. Something that I have been having to maintain and manage myself for a long time. I know that, like, if I'm moving around, I always turn off Wi-Fi when I'm on calls, or if I know I'm going to be on a call, because, if I'm on a Wi-Fi network that maybe isn't, home or the office, and it's like there's public Wi-Fi SSIDs that I attach to all the time, like when I'm walking down the street, or if I'm traveling, like I'm driving, I'm connecting to like Xfinity or, Starbucks Wi-Fi as I'm stopped at a light or something like that. So hopefully this will help with that. I think, it'd be great if the phone and voice would recognize, oh, hey, you're traveling, you're moving, distance wise at a relatively high rate of speed, or, you're moving long distances in a short amount of time. You probably shouldn't be on a Wi-Fi network, right? You should be connected to the, 3G, 5G, whatever network that you're going to be on to have better call stability. I don't know, 3 to 4G, whatever. I'm just used to the 3G term.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't know. Like I don't see. You used to always see 3G on your phone as in terms of value. I don't see 4G or 5G anymore. You see LTE or you do?
Oh, I suppose I see. Yeah. Well, I'll see 4G LTE or just LTE. But now I've been seeing 5G because that's the marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
5GE or 5G
right.
EC.
Yeah, I think 5 is there. Yeah, but I don't get it that much. It's not really.
On the iPhone, they pushed it out hard.
Yeah. I don't notice it that much.
But yeah, to your point, contextual awareness is the holy grail of a lot of these things, and when it comes to that versus privacy concerns, it gets to be a little hairy as to what these big companies are allowed to do and tap into and record, and
but I think
for me, performance like this with features like this, I'm all in. Let's go. Take it all.
Right. And you don't need to retain that data. That's the thing.
Right.
Like, you don't need to retain that information that the person is moving quickly right then and there. Like, you just need to know it, at that point in time for like the next, few minutes, basically. Once it's done, it's gone. You don't need to retain that data.
auto dumping infrastructure of some sort.
Yeah, and you don't even need you don't need to even know the specific coordinates anymore. You can just say, hey, they're moving this amount of feet in a certain time, and it's bigger than what it should be, so do this.
Well, that's where some of the local processing comes in, right? Because then the phone can be the one to say, hey, here's only the information you need to know, not that they moved from here to here and so on, which is cool.
Yeah. The phone does that calculation, keeps it locally on the device, and doesn't send it anywhere.
Right, but I don't think it's part of the APIs or the interface yet. So.
Yeah, but it wouldn't need. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't need to have it report it back to the servers, right? You just calculate it locally on the device, and then the application would make a determination of what it should do with that value.
Yep.
So details about this is really about Google Voice used to only identify the ideal network upon the time the call was placed, or I guess maybe the time the call was incoming. So this is now going to, I guess, continually evaluate which network is going to be better for the user for that call. And it's available to all Workspace or all Google Voice customers. We're moving away from Workspace here, is Google Voice. So within the Google Workspace Updates blog, we're seeing a Google Voice update here feature, which makes sense. Next, we have the expanded language support for captions and translated captions in Google Meet. So back in January, there was the general availability announcement of translated captions in Google Meet. And this announcement here is just expanding upon that previous announcement where users can now translate English calls into Japanese, simplified Mandarin, and Swedish. So Kim, if you're listening, you've got some Swedish translations here for you. And then also you can now translate French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish calls into English. That's one that I'm surprised it took long to come out with, because those are like the main languages. But I wonder, I wonder if that's the first. I wonder if that's the first non-English to something announcement. Because those seem like the core ones you would have.
Could be.
On an initial announcement. Yeah.
Why Swedish?
Well, that's English too, right? English to Japanese, Mandarin, Swedish. I don't know. Could be, a lot of Swedish Googlers. I don't know.
There you go. Maybe.
Big office there. I mean, I know, I think Google Meet's team. Yes, Google, you're responding to me now. Google Meet's team. Yeah, I know. The team for Google Meet, I believe, is based in the Nordics, and Sweden might be the main place for it. That was one of the companies they acquired, I think, was based there.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And it says, additionally, standard captions are now available in Japanese, Russian, Italian, Korean, Dutch, Portuguese, Mandarin traditional, and some languages will include a beta tag as they continue to optimize performance and introduce additional languages over time. So, of course, those updates will be here. We will talk to you about them as they come out. This rollout is coming to rapid release and scheduled release domains on a full rollout with 1 to 3 days for feature visibility, and that started on the 16th of December. So all done with that one, or should be. And it's available to translated captions. It's available to meetings organized by Workspace Business Standard Plus, Enterprise Starter, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Plus, and the Teaching and Learning Upgrade customers. And then with captions, that is going to be available to all Workspace customers, as well as the Legacy G Suite Basic and Business, which is nice. Captions are kind of one of those universally accessibility features that you like to see everyone have access to.
Indeed.
All right, and then finally, the client-side encryption for Gmail is now available in beta. The Education or the Enterprise Plus, Education Plus, Education Standard customers are eligible to apply for the beta until the 20th of Jan. So if you're interested in that, sign up and get your application in there. The link, I think hopefully we'll find the link to the application. Yeah, it takes you to the help article, which then has the beta test application link within that. So, we will save you the 2 clicks and give you the direct link to the form so that you can go straight there. And if you are a customer that needs to use this, I think there's going to be, I think there's a lot of cost involved in this. I'm not sure if Google is providing this functionality within their platform. I think the whole point is that it's, encryption available outside of Google's oversight. So, yeah, have a look at this. I don't think it's changed. I don't think that part has changed much from when I last looked at it, in terms of customers being able to retain control over those encryption keys and identity service to access those keys. This is already something that's already available for Google Drive and Docs and Sheets, Slides and Meets and Calendar, which is also in a beta. This is now coming into the Gmail side of things. So if you're interested in that, sign up. And the availability for this is only going to be available to Enterprise Plus, Education Plus, and Education Standard customers. So, a very small subset of users. So really just Enterprise Plus on, I guess, our main audience, I'd imagine. And not available to anyone else there. So that wraps up the updates that we have for this week. Jesse, lots of good stuff here in other news.
Yeah, on to the news. So
take that up.
You've heard us talk about ChatGPT a little bit over the last couple of episodes here, and I did mention I was hearing through the rumor mill that Google is working on it. It has an option of their own or a version of their own, but we're a little bit taking a back seat to OpenAI, and some of the others that were getting more attention right now. So there's a 9 to 5 Google article here that states that Google actually, yes, this is confirmed. According to CNBC, Google executives who were asked about it during a recent all-hands meeting did state that they have something similar to this. And no, they are not, in fact, lagging behind the industry. The quote here, the quote here is that the AI can, quote, make stuff up. And they want to kind of avoid that, and so that's from Google AI head Jeff Dean. If the AI isn't really sure about something, they'll just tell you, elephants are the animals that lay the largest eggs, or whatever he said. So they're working to make sure that the answers that it gives are balanced and correct, and in the areas that they're supposed to be, I suppose. So there's a couple of links in this article if you're interested in more information about that. But we're not there yet. Our jobs are safe.
Well, yeah, I did take your advice though, and I went and just put in a question to OpenAI here and said, summarize Google Workspace updates from 2020, and it's writing them right now. It says Google Workspace, formerly known as G Suite, has made a number of updates and new features available to users in 2020. Some of the notable updates include, and then of course it lists 5 notable updates. So yeah,
there you go.
That's kind of interesting.
If it was trained on a more recent data set, then it could write my end of year recap post for me.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, actually, that's I will.
So
I will include
bloggers,
that
you've
here.
been warned. We'll throw it up on the side over here. All right, on to the next one. Google has been, as you know, moving in a direction of having larger screen feature sets for tablets and Android larger screens. And I hypothesize that it may have something to do with a coming foldable Pixel, perhaps, but also with apparently a slew. I was going to say a slate, which would also work, but given that they used to call it the Pixel Slate, we're going to avoid that. So a slew of tablets, a bunch of tablets that are coming out here, and honestly, they have to be doing it on purpose at this point, but it leaked on Facebook Marketplace. There's a gallery of photos here on also 9 to 5 Google of actual working images of the dock that they teased at, what do you call it? That they teased at I/O, I think it was. And you've got the charging speaker dock and the detachable tablet and how it all connects and charges and charging adapter and there and whatnot. So, this is coming, and we do have another article talking about Pixels or not Pixels, but larger tablets. So I'm going to skip the other two updates temporarily while I bring this article up, but also at 9 to 5 Google. I was busy on them this week, it seems. But all signs are pointing to Google releasing not one, but 2 Android tablets in 2023. And they asked the question, why is Google making a Pixel Tablet Pro at all? And that's what Steve and I were discussing a little bit earlier in the show. Google has basically said at one point in the last couple of years, nope, we're done. We're not doing tablets anymore. Forget about it. And it seems that they have changed their mind on that one. And it makes sense. They should. They should, as Steve was saying, have the device that is supposed to be the market leader, or at least the design leader, showing off all of the cool new things it can do. Google has a lot of really awesome tech that they put into these, as has been seen in the Pixel line, and I was very disappointed to see them get out of making Chromebooks, but that's part of what their Chromebook line did, was to show off all of the amazing features until the other manufacturers caught up, which is what they have effectively done now. So I think Google is trying to throw their hat back in the ring here, like they're doing with the Pixel line on the cell phone side, and try their hand once again at tablets. And hopefully the strategy of it revolving around the home is going to work better for them than their previous strategies. Then the last two things I have here are about Lenovo's early announcements of new Chromebooks that are coming out in advance of CES. I was actually just having a conversation with a client.
Have you been to CES?
I have not. I bought tickets like twice, and then ended up returning them and not going because of various different reasons. Also,
love to go.
I would love to go too, but it's so hard to rationalize because it's a shit show because it's Vegas.
I know, but
a million people
it's a
there,
one-time thing. Like I would love to go once. I don't want to go all the time.
Amazing.
I would love to go once.
That would be awesome. But basically, if you're in the market for a new Chromebook, maybe wait a couple of weeks and see what's announced at CES. Keep in mind that stuff announced at CES don't always come out right away. Oftentimes, like these,
it's like some Google updates that we hear, Google roadmap items.
Exactly. Well, these ones. The Lenovo's here are only coming out, I think, in May. So, expected for release in May 2023. So, even if I would say if you're expecting to get a new Chromebook in the next 6 to 8 months, then maybe wait and see what's going out there. But if you need one now, then you should go and buy what's out there now.
Well, you should go buy the
framework.
Why am I framework? Framework was it?
Yeah,
it was Frame something.
Yeah, I doubt they're announcing a new model at CES.
No. No, but you're just like, if you need a new one, you're saying, like, that should be one of the ones you go and get, right?
Yeah. Most definitely. All right, and that's it. That's all for this week. Send us your questions and comments on Twitter at Workspace Recap and on our website, workspacerecap.com. Hit the subscribe button wherever you happen to be listening to us. And happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, and we're going to do a show next week. So have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.